Yo, I know, it's been a minute since I've uploaded, but hear me out for a second. It's cause I've been thinking, and like some serious thinking has been going on, and something's actually been bugging me for quite a while now. So you know how we keep hearing about all of this quantum hype, quantum supremacy, quantum computers, breaking encryption, quantum everything. It basically sounds like we're living in a science fiction movie, but here's the thing. If quantum chips are so powerful, then why isn't there one in my iPhone right now? Now before I dive into the answer, let's backtrack a bit and talk about what a quantum chip even is. Well, quantum chips, or quantum processing units, are basically processors that use quantum bits, also known as qubits, instead of regular bits. Now, unlike classical bits that can be either 0 or 1, qubits can be in a state that can be both 0 and 1 at the same time. This is something called superposition. Also, qubits can get entangled, meaning one qubit state depends on the others. This enables some wild levels of parallelism, letting quantum computers tackle problems that would probably take a classical computer longer than the age of the universe to solve. So then, what's the catch? Well, here's the thing. Qubits are ridiculously fragile. They get messed up by heat, noise, and even the tiniest magnetic fields. That's why most quantum chips need to operate at near absolute zero inside of a giant dilution refrigerator the size of a wardrobe. And also, they're super error prone. Basically, even when they're being controlled perfectly, quantum operations can still just randomly go wrong, just because of how unstable the system really is. So researchers use something called quantum error correction, but that adds a ton of overhead. Like, one logical qubit might need about 1,000 physical qubits to stay stable. It's basically like trying to power on a flashlight, but every battery you have is super unreliable, so you gotta tape together 1,000 of them just to make sure the light stays on. Now, don't get me wrong, quantum chips are amazing, but for very specific things, such as simulating molecules, solving optimization problems, or cracking certain types of encryption that would take classical computers basically forever. But they're not general purpose. They don't really replace your CPU or GPU. In fact, quantum chips rely on CPUs and GPUs to control them. A real-world quantum workflow is a tag team effort, where the CPUs and GPU handle all the error correction and optimization, while the QPU just does all the quantum parts. NVIDIA actually calls this process quantum accelerated supercomputing. So the big question arises, will we ever get quantum iPhones? Well, in the future, maybe, but not in the way that you think. Quantum chips probably won't replace classical chips in your phone. Instead, they'll augment them. Think cloud-based quantum processing, where your phone sends a problem to a quantum server farm and it sends back the answer. That way, you don't need to carry a freezer in your back pocket at all times. And honestly speaking, a lot of what you do on your phone doesn't actually need quantum level power. Scrolling TikTok is not exactly a quantum problem, but optimizing a drug molecule or cracking encryption, that's where quantum shines. If you like this video and want me to dive deeper into the future of quantum tech, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop your questions in the comments. I'll see you next time.